I unfortunately don't have the private financing option and only made 50K yearly as a medic. How do I get loan financing? Last three mortgage brokers told me I'm too poor in this market. Your debt to income's not high enough, huh? Michael, I would say that most people, I mean, $50,000 a year, you shouldn't beat yourself up about that, right? So, I think it's like $33,000 a year puts you from a global perspective in the top 1% of income earners throughout the globe. So, first off, $50,000 is a fine annual salary. That is more than I ever made as I was gainfully employed, right? So, your debt to income, what market you're in, I mean, that stuff matters. I was living in North Carolina, and you couldn't even buy a condemned home for less than 100 grand. I moved up here to Ohio, and I would say our average purchase price on the property is 60 grand at this point. When we first moved here and started buying it was like 40 grand. So yeah, things have gone up, but I would take a really hard look at what kind of market you're trying to get in. And there are some markets that you can get a foothold that have a lower cost of entry. So before, medic, that is a job where everyone needs that position. So you could go anywhere in the nation and be a medic. And it's also one of those industries where, for the most part, the salaries are comparable across the nation. So, my response to you would first off move, especially if opportunity and your livelihood is at stake, right? So, once you educate yourself to the point where you have all of the information necessary to be a successful real estate investor, the only thing that you're lacking is the appropriate finances at the entry costs. Move somewhere far more affordable. There's one guy that I admire a lot that just moved to Dayton from LA. He couldn't buy anything in LA. He put offers on single family homes for $725,000 and got beat out. Now he moves to Dayton and he owns three, maybe four houses now. Where you live and where you're trying to invest matters. And if you feel like you're firing on all cylinders, if you feel like, $50,000 is all you can do, then you need to move to a market that's going to allow you to start doing some damage in that market. And then if you don't feel like you're tapping yourself out, if you don't feel like $50,000 is all that you make, if you have some bandwidth to learn some additional skill sets, to explore some additional resources and figure out how to increase your income, then by all means, I would classify being a medic and being in law enforcement as pretty similar, right? So inevitably being a medic, there's a little bit of downtime in there or some really good days off. So what I did when I was in law enforcement, when I realized that I didn't have the ability to make enough money to provide for my family the kind of lifestyle that we wanted, what I did was I committed to reading a book per day on how to make additional money until I figured that out. So what I did was slowly gain skills by educating myself that were, allowing me to make additional capital, which in turn would cause me to be more bankable, which would cause my debt to income to be to a point where I could get a foothold in the new market that I moved to. So, it all runs together. And I would say between working on yourself, gaining some new skills, and putting those to use out in the marketplace to increase your income, I think that's pretty solid. Another thing that I would really encourage you to do is wholesaling real estate, right? So finding good deals in real estate is one of the hardest things to do. So if you can get that skill set down, even if you don't have the capital to take down the deal by yourself, if you just find a good deal, put it together, and then find somebody that actually has the capital to take down that deal, they are likely willing to pay you a pretty healthy reward. I think that the most expensive wholesale fee that we've paid so far has been 15,000. Now, I have a good friend who paid a $60,000 wholesale fee. It was on a multifamily, and the deal still made sense, even with that $60,000 wholesale fee. So, what that wholesaler did essentially was go out, find a good deal, market it to somebody that had the money, and added a kind of fee for him putting together that deal and just introducing the two parties. So if you want to get into real estate investing, start learning some of the mechanics of real estate investing. That comes with a new skill set. That skill set is marketable. It has a value, in the marketplace, and you are able to increase your financial performance, which will in turn positively impact the bank's view of your financial situation and start qualifying you. And then lastly, I would really challenge you on the fact that you don't have private lending available to you. I really wish I started making these videos sooner so that we could collectively go back and look at the position that I was in and what resources I had available to me, right? Because at this point, we have a decent amount of private lending, and it's quick for people to say, oh, well, he is plugged into a network that has these funds, and that's something inherently different from the position that I'm in. Sure, now, 5 years later, after me regularly working, doing the right thing for all the people that were willing to do private lending, and word of mouth from the people that were happy and satisfied with the products that we were offering, I went and told all their buddies. So it has turned into this thing that has been a really solid thing for us. But before private lending was an option for me, you know what I did? Read some books, right? So one is called, I think, Raising Private Capital by a guy named Matt Faircloth. I read that book. He kind of really walks through, lays out the groundwork of utilizing retirement accounts, rolling them over into self-directed accounts, and then, doing private lending from there. It gives you all the information that you need, even if you don't have the retirement funds yourself. Being a medic, you work with people that are going to leave, right? They're going to leave your job. And as soon as they leave that job, all their money in their retirement savings is going to sit there unless they roll it over. If they're going to roll it over, then they can roll it over into a self-directed retirement account. And from that self-directed retirement account, they can lend that money to you, right? So my first private lender was a friend of mine who I went through the police academy with. And the only reason that he was willing to lend me that money is first off, I had the knowledge of how he could utilize those funds. Second, I had the trust. We went through the police academy together. We got partnered up on a couple of excruciating things that we had to do together in the police academy. And from that grew a fantastic friendship. One where he knew I wouldn't run off with his funds or misuse them or do anything else. So that was the first little string that I was able to pull in forming a network of private lenders. And from there, in regular conversation, from that point on, I was able to then start saying, hey, I regularly borrow money from friends and family at 10 and 12% interest. That interest is paid out monthly. The initial funds are secured by a first position mortgage on the property. So in the event that I default, that private lender gets the property, same as a bank would if somebody stops paying their mortgage. And that is a really appealing offering to many investors, especially those that are leery of the stock market or want more accountability if someone were to lose their funds. So I would disagree 100% on the fact that you don't have private lenders available to you, right? Like, you have people in your network right now that would take a chance on you and that would lend money to you with no experience in real estate investing, that wouldn't qualify before they lent their money to me. They don't know me. They don't trust me. You have a track record with everybody that you've worked with. So private lending and any type of financial transactions outside of the institutional ones that we're used to having, like with banks, where they're so large, they have this money to lend out. They really don't care about, who you are as a human. They just go through their little check boxes. Well, when it comes to private lending, it's completely different. First off, you have to have the knowledge. You have to be able to walk through people, because a lot of people don't even know that this self-directed strategy is even available to them. So again, the first private lender that I had, I think it was like $20,000, $26,000. It wasn't that much, but again, because I had the knowledge to help him roll that over, because I had the trust with him, that $20,000, has now grown because I had a track record from that moment, from the time someone first took a chance on me. I could then start publicly saying, hey, this person took a chance on me, and here is the track record of me paying him on time every single month, exactly as outlined in that promissory note. Everybody has private lending available to them. It really just comes down to, are you serious about forming some private financing options and financing relationships? So anybody could build a private lending network. There is so much money out there and too few options to put that money into. I could go on a very long rant that I won't because we're running out of time, just about my disdain for, Wall Street. And people have spent, billions, if not trillions of dollars in marketing, specifically to, the blue collar kind of working class people of, hey, 401ks, IRAs, this is the way to go. Give your money to Wall Street, invest in these stocks and retire when you're 60 years old. Like that's the way, right? Like that's a little marketing package, kind of like milk and cereal, right? The two benefit each other, but the two don't benefit. They don't benefit you. They don't benefit me. Right. The more positive control that you can take over your financial situation, the sooner you're going to be able to live whatever kind of lifestyle you want. You don't have to wait until you're 60. That's nonsense.
Thanks for watching that clip. I thought that was a good question. And I think you can ask good questions too. Join us every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live stream Q&A where we answer plenty of questions just like this one. In the meantime, consider subscribing to the channel if you want more of this content. And if you want to increase your deal flow, analyze properties better, and help me feed my family, click the link below for a free 7-day trial of PropStream.